Welcome to Let Freedom Ring. Before we get into the show real quick, I just want to touch base on the passing of WWE icon Pat Patterson, the first Intercontinental Champion. It was his idea to come up with the Royal Rumble. Behind the stage person for many, many years. So rest in peace, Pat Patterson. You will not be forgotten. But my guest this week, John Maksin.
Maksin.
I almost messed that up. But welcome to the show, John.
Thank you. Pleasure to be on. Love what you do, and look forward to having fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get to know you a little bit. So, where are you from, and where'd you grow up?
I grew up. I moved around a little bit. South Jersey, but have been in Manchester, New Hampshire for 5 years.
Okay.
Going on 6 this upcoming March. 31 years old. A father. I like to play sports. I'm active, not as active as I'd like to be, as we get older. Drive trucks for a living. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, what brought you to New Hampshire? Was it just spur of the moment?
So I have a buddy of mine who grew up here, went down there for high school, then came back, and then the few times I went to visit, when he was up here for the second time, I just fell in love, and just why not? I didn't go to college. I didn't go away, and and just been here ever since.
Awesome. I mean, it is a beautiful state. I mean, we got a lot here in New Hampshire. I mean, if you want to go to the mountains, you got the mountains. You want to go to the beach, you got the beach.
Exactly.
Before COVID, you want to go watch a minor league baseball game in Manchester, you go watch a minor league baseball game in Manchester.
That's the one thing. Looking back, I was contemplating last summer, not this past actually, the 2019 summer. My son is at that age where you're not sure how he's going to do in public settings or whatnot, and I was like, you know what, let me bring him to a game for the 2020 summer.
Yeah.
Never. Who thought this was ever going to take place? And then you're like, oh man, I wish I had jumped on that when I could.
Yeah. Well, I think hopefully he'll be back. I mean, we're going to touch on COVID, obviously, because it's dominating our lives.
I know.
But we'll see how next year goes. But what's one thing that everybody should know about you?
I try and treat others the way I'd like to be treated. I'm not perfect. I don't advertise to be. I don't know if this is one. It sounds like it's like multiple things now. Just with anything, if I don't know something, I'm not afraid to ask, and and I like to connect the dots to how someone came to a conclusion, whether I agree or disagree with it. I like to see, I like to get to know people and see where they've come from.
Awesome, good answer. Now, sticking with the theme of the show, which is Let Freedom Ring, and this question means a lot of different things to a lot of different people, and we rarely actually get repeat answers on this. What does it mean to you to be an American?
Yeah, watching your episodes, and try to think of an answer in my head how I would respond, and here I am, and I still don't know how to respond. But just a setting like this, where we could sit down, and critique or compliment, whether it be federal, state, and or local issues, and without fear of consequences from either, and being protected on our thoughts and our speech. I mean, I think that's the fundamental, like that to me, that's what being an American is being able to just sit down with somebody and throw your ideas out there, and like I was saying before, you can connect the dots, and you might say something that I've never even thought of, and I would have to consider it and challenge my own opinion.
Yeah.
And that's what I like, and I don't necessarily know if that's answering your question, but that's how I look at it. It's just being able to, because you can't do that everywhere.
It's true. On
this planet, and it's unfortunate, and I don't want that just to be an American thing. I want that to be a worldwide thing.
It'd be nice if it was just a human thing.
Exactly.
And I think you're right. We can learn a lot from each other. You don't always have to be stuck in your ways. Sometimes when you learn something new, that could change your opinion on something, which I think as a country, we've had a harder time doing that, because I don't think we have this thing where no one wants to be wrong. But sometimes you can be, and it happens.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with, at least for me, there's nothing wrong with admitting it.
Yeah.
And The one thing, I don't use it as often. I've told you this, but for the viewers out there, I don't use Facebook, as often anymore. Just kind of need to take a break from it. But
Sure.
that nice reminder of like, I think they call it on this day.
Yeah.
And then, it'll be something from like 8 years ago, and like, whoa, I can't believe I even endorsed that idea.
Yeah.
But people change and you evolve, and it's conversations like this. And it's not just you and I. It might be someone I just randomly meet at a grocery store. Might say something like, "Whoa, John, I've that thought never even crossed your mind."
Yeah.
And you find yourself, and you should find yourself, it's kind of like practice, like in a sport.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what's going to work when it comes game time, so you have to go out on the practice field, and might sound good on paper, and then when you get out there, you're like, yeah,
it's not going to work.
Yeah, this isn't going to work,
Yeah.
but you need that pushback a little bit too.
Yeah.
And that's where, and
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. So, no, good answer. And like I said, that question, there's a lot to it.
I know.
And we get a lot of different answers on the show. So, let's get into current events now. The UK has approved, and now, is it Pfizer, the corona vaccine?
Pfizer?
Pfizer, is that how you're supposed to say it?
I think PF?
It's Pfizer. I've only read it. Like, I haven't heard it on TV because I've just kind of avoided a lot of things on TV. But anyways, the UK, first of the Western countries to approve this, to let people start taking it. Are we starting to hit that curve where we're turning the right corner, with the UK starting this?
I hope so. That's the goal, is to find something to, I don't know if you can fully eradicate it, but at least like a flu shot. I know they're not the same, and I'm not trying to act like they are.
Yeah.
But that is something that you should be striving for. As far as like if it's a step in the right direction, of course it is. If this is in the coming weeks and months, one thing you should ask, and I don't think there's anything wrong with asking this, is the success rate, the percentages of it. Obviously, it will never be 100%. Then also, what are the ones that aren't successful? What are the short and or long-term effects to the vaccine? One thing I get a little concerned about is the way we're going to approach possibly mandating a vaccine. If when, I don't want to say if, because it's going to happen here, in America. And I don't think the government could do something, but I think it would be more on the business side of it, the insurers. You want to come back to work, this is what you got to do. Exactly. You want to fly here, you want to use our transportation to get here. Yeah, I think that's where it's going to be. Because it does sound like in Massachusetts right now, to come back as a state worker, you got to have the flu shot. Yeah, which and I think in some schools too. Yeah. Actually, no, they were going to do that with schools too. And I'll be honest, I've said this on the show before, I've never had a flu shot. It's not even something that's ever crossed my mind, to be honest. Until this year? I still didn't really, it's just not I've always been a person, I'm not saying this is right or wrong, but I wash my hands a lot. I'm not a big, I will shake someone's hand, but I'm not big on it. Or if I do, I know I got to wash my hands. I know you denied me a handshake when I got in. It's just not the way. I've always been careful with germs. I'm a germaphobe, always have been, and so I think this is a good thing. Fauci believes that we could be somewhat normal by the end of the summer. Going to baseball games like the Fisher Cats and stuff. One other interesting thing, though. And someone posted something I want to talk about a little bit. The three former presidents that are, I'm sorry, Jimmy Carter's still alive too, but you had Bush, Obama, and Clinton said that they will publicly take the vaccine. Any thoughts on them willing to do that? To each their own. If that's what they want to do, by all means. Yeah. I'd like to think, or I'm hoping it's not a politicized attempt. Like, I hope it's just something that came up in conversation. if that's what they want to do, I mean, by all means, it's, you know, you are right to do that. However, I'm not in the market to shaming someone if they're not fully comfortable with something. I mean, you just said and this isn't a knock, like you haven't taken a flu shot, and myself either. The flu shot's been around for
ever.
Yeah.
Not just not something.
And it's not just one.
Yeah.
Multiple different. You know, and decades of it. This is just something that's coming out of, you know, I'm gonna say left field, but this time last year, this didn't even cross anyone's mind.
No.
You know.
Well, it's interesting because, and the reason I bring it up, and we actually have Barack Obama on the table today in a Monarchs jersey, R.I.P. Monarchs. But if you remember when Flint, Michigan, they're in the water crisis, and Obama was still president, and he said, "I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, and I'm going to drink this water." And if you remember, he didn't drink the water; it barely hit his lips, and he was selling it. So as much as you don't have, Barack, you don't have a lot of credibility in trying to sell people on things because you did a real poor job there. So someone kind of mentioned that, and I said, you know what? I don't care if they do this on TV. I don't need to see it.
And I think, go a little bit further with it, I don't know why we look to our presidents or former presidents for like advice on certain things like that. Like I feel like it should be up to just individuals to do their own research and whatnot. Just because, you know, for example, like I really enjoyed Ron Paul.
Yeah.
Like, but there's a lot of things that he says that I don't agree with. But just if you know, if he comes out there and says that he'll do something, I'm you know, damn sure not going to hop on board with that.
Yeah.
Just because he had said something. You know, I'll do, and I'm not perfect, but I'll do the best I can to research, again, short and long-term effects of this, the percentage of, you know, success rate to it, and also where this is going, like where we are going as a society. Like if you need one to play ball, yeah, I guess I'll go along with it, but to the point, to the presidents, again, if they want to do that, that's, you know,
sure.
Again, you know, by all means,
it may not sell anybody on it or what. I don't even think it matters, to be honest. I mean, honestly, if I would get the vaccine if it meant if I could go to a baseball game again. Wrestling right now, I signed the petition today. I was a former wrestler, former wrestling coach. Not happening in Merrimack. I was hoping I could do the play-by-play here for Merrimack TV, which they do an awesome job with the sports. But the town decided that's not going to happen. And I can't even imagine when I was in high school having something I love so much just taken away. So if it means kids can go play sports in high school and I got to get a vaccine, I'll do it.
Yeah.
You know.
You bring up a good point too, like on the other side of it, like that gets lost. There's a lot of kids, you know, playing sports that, you know, are unable to.
Yeah.
And that could be, you know, their way to escape, you know, whatever harsh reality they're going through. Their way to escape a crappy situation, go off to college, even college athletes.
Yeah.
You know, that's a lot of players from their junior to senior years, they grow. And yeah, and it's a good way of looking at it. If that's, you know, for me, and if I can get promised or close to 100% guarantee that if I took that and we all took it, that would go back to normal. Yeah, you know, I think
I would definitely.
Yeah.
And you know what's going to be interesting? The UK is trying it first, so we're going to see how they do.
We'll see how they do.
Let them be the guinea pigs. I mean, we beat them in the American Revolution. I think they owe us something. You know, we're going to go into politics a little bit. Trump pardoned Michael Flynn. We all knew Michael Flynn lied to the FBI about talking with the Russians and things like that. He was looking serious time, and Trump's on his way out, and he pardoned him. But Michael Flynn's saying some crazy things. You know, now that he's been pardoned, basically saying that, you know, the president should suspend the Constitution, declare martial law, and go for a new election. Where are we at with this? Because we also know that Trump still doesn't accept these results. He's putting out these crazy videos. What are your takes on the election and everything that kind of transpired there?
Yeah, well, it caught me off guard when he had told me the other day that he was, or whenever he was pardoned. I mean, that completely threw me off guard. And then, reading up on what he had said, I'm definitely, it's a little alarming that someone's endorsing that idea. How far it goes, hopefully it's just a thought
I think
that
it's
he
just
has.
Sound bites, but
exactly. But that's just where you're thinking like, wow, like, the president just pardons a guy that's endorsing the idea of abolishing the Constitution, or temporarily abolishing the Constitution. For what gain? As far as the election, he lost.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Voter fraud, regardless of who's the president, it takes place.
Yeah.
It takes place at every level, all over the world. You could sway me a little bit, and I can see Trump's allegation, and I'd be more willing to hear it out if each state was by such a small margin.
Yeah.
Okay. You're talking millions upon millions. You're talking like a huge political coup.
Yeah.
That would involve tens of millions of votes, with numerous people involved. I mean, at some point that will come down. Someone will squeal.
Well, the other thing too is the Republicans had a very good election.
Yeah.
It was him that didn't. Actually, he still did have a good election.
Well, he had a better one than 2016. If I was a Republican, I still don't think I can endorse him. Yeah. But if you're a Trump voter, you have to ask yourself, of the new voters, the new voter turnout from 2016 to 2020, I think it was maybe a total of 12 million new.
Yeah, the mail-in voting I think changed things.
But he only got 2 million of it. But it's still a lot. I mean, he did better than. But that's a huge amount of votes that went to Biden.
Yeah, the most ever.
Yeah, and you got to tip your cap because they campaign. Well, they could definitely campaign a lot better than Hillary Clinton.
I think they did less.
You do?
Because of the pandemic. I think, honestly, and this is going to lead into our next question, Biden, no one was on the Biden, no one was we all just wanted this jackass gone. And he continues, and I have no problem saying this on my show, Donald Trump is a jackass. And, I'm not surprised that he's reacted this way.
Now, the primaries, Pete Buttigieg, or I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, he was winning.
He did well, we all thought, again, Bernie would, it was going to be Bernie. He won New Hampshire, and Biden exited New Hampshire pretty quick. Said, all right, we lost this amount. On to the next state. But the Bernie supporters, it's a lot of hype that didn't show up for the primaries. But I can't say that. I think a lot of Democrats probably just said Biden's a safe bet. We can tie him to Obama. Maybe they'll get him in. But I think ultimately Biden wins because people were sick of this.
Yeah, I don't think it has anything necessarily to do with him.
Yeah.
I think it's who he was running against.
Yeah.
And where I said, when I'm saying that he campaigned better than Hillary, he used Trump and his past 4 years against him.
There was more of a track record at this point. Yeah.
Where before, it's like playing roulette. You don't know what you're going to get with this dude.
Yeah.
And I think the mistake in 2016 was, I think they just figured they had it in the bag.
Yeah.
They had the candidate with the best resume of all time.
Yeah.
Going against a guy with no resume.
Which was hard. There was nothing to compare him to.
Yeah.
And he was very good at being critical of everything she's ever done. I mean, there's a lot of dirt on Donald Trump. When it came to politics, there really wasn't.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to some more fun stuff because politics is fun, but we've been drained. This whole month has been, a election fraud, Biden wins, blah, 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 this and that. But you have a lot of fan questions. And we're going to try to touch on them all. But you had quite a few. First question. Keith Belanger, former guest of the show, has a few questions. Are you ready to move on from Carson Wentz?
No. That being said, if someone's willing to take on that contract, yeah, the Eagles would be dumb to reject that idea.
Yeah.
It's a combination of a bunch of different things with him. It's Carson Wentz, the line's not protecting him. He has no weapons. And this isn't, this is old news.
Yeah.
Going into the last 2 drafts, and it's been complete bust on a lot of them. And I don't think Doug Peterson puts him in the right situations to succeed either. So it's a bunch of different things. Now, that's not getting him off the hook. He's playing poor. Definitely needs to step it up. If there's something, and I hate to make the comparison, but a comparison to like a Brady, but that's where you set the bar, is for someone like him. That's where you want, that's the goal, is to be someone like Tom Brady, where Tom Brady will just throw the ball away. Throw it away. The old set, you just live for another down. And if it happens to be on 3rd down, just punt the ball away. And coming out of college, yes, Ben Roethlisberger, like, he'll extend a play. I mean, just a phenomenal athlete, great arm. That is definitely his downfall. But that's something that you would hope at whatever year it is, 4 or 5 in his career, that he would be able to see that. And especially after an ACL surgery.
Yep.
And I think he had a back surgery. He's had a concussion. So it's some stuff you would think and hope, like, hey, like, maybe we need to reevaluate this a little. But to the question, no, I'm not ready to go on. And this idea that Jalen Hurts is better than, or needs time, in my opinion, I think it's just absurd.
Yeah.
There's nothing he does better than Wentz at. And with everything that I just said that's working against Wentz, why throw a rookie into the mix?
To deal with more, yeah. He has Pats or Geno's. Now, I'm not familiar with this.
Cheesesteak places. So they are across the street from one another. I don't know which one's at, but it's 9th and Passyunk in South Philadelphia. Those are the touristy attractions. If I had to pick just with that, Pats. But if you mind, if there's a place that we're going to go in this city, I recommend Tony Luke's. Tony Luke's, phenomenal sandwiches. There's another place, John's. I think they're just as good. Pat's and Geno's, though, you're not from the area and you got like a day, yeah, I guess you take the tourist attraction. The lines around the building, it's open, like, I mean, it's probably changed now with COVID. 24 hours, and I'm telling you, like, at all hours of the night, it's jumping. Yeah.
Nice. And then last question from Keith: favorite place to eat? Favorite eatery in the Reading Terminal, inside the Reading Terminal.
Ooh, I'm not really a fan of. If someone back home's hearing this, I'm probably getting. I'm getting my card taken away.
Yeah.
Probably the Knicks. They're known for their roast pork sandwiches. The Reading Terminal, it's just a little too crowded for me.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're into that, into loud, huge crowds and like such a tight spot, that place is for you. I mean, they got everything there. It's just not for me. And but the Knicks, to the question, the Knicks, and you can't go wrong with that.
All right, now from my friend Maura McCabe, who is living in Philly.
Oh.
And when I go to visit her, I'm going to have her take me to Tony Luke's, I think.
Yeah.
But
whatever camera.
Yeah.
Tony Luke's. Get him over there.
And we kind of already touched on the Eagles, but just how disappointed have you been in the Eagles drafting and extending contracts for guys who don't deserve it? The money deserve the money and or should retire or close it out. So
now, I don't know.
Great, not great players, I guess.
extend. So did she say extend on?
She's saying they're extending contracts for guys who don't deserve it.
I don't know if it's a shot at Jason Peters. Probably a Wentz jab too. Excuse me. They draft poor. There's no question about it. There's a joke in the city: who drafts worse, the Phillies or the Eagles? And it's not, and it's actually probably even. That's how bad it is.
Yeah.
It's one thing, hey, the old Tom Brady line. Yeah, every team passed up on him. Diamond in the rough, went down to the sixth round. Yeah, that happens. With the Eagles, a lot of it happens too often. Jefferson, another one that just happened this past year with, not selecting him and picking, Rager out of TCU. A little mind-boggling to say the least. 2 years back, JJ Arcega-Whiteside, picking him over, DK Metcalf. Again, hindsight's always 20/20.
Yeah.
But even decisions like at the time, you're like, what is going on? I'm a firm believer. To her question, I am extremely. Did she say frustrated or upset on the lines like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She and I bust her chops constantly on Facebook. So I'm sure that doesn't help.
No.
Not that my team's any better right now.
No, she probably waits like 15 minutes to reply.
Oh, yeah.
She's screaming
or it should be like, I'm not doing this. My brother Mike asks, now this is Will Smith from Philly in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Where would Will Smith be today if his mom didn't get him and send him to live with his aunt and uncle in Bel-Air?
Probably on the basketball court somewhere in the city.
Yeah.
Or maybe down in Miami, trying to be inspired to write a new album.
Yeah. Agreed. Next question from Leo Connors, the host of the Ring All Other Sports, which I will be on Monday for his 199th episode. So he's approaching 200, and I got to send him a shout out. Real quick, just who in your opinion is the greatest Philadelphia Flyer?
Oh, I think it's Bobby Clark. I think 3-time MVP. Definitely 2-time Stanley Cup champ. He's Mr. Flyer. I feel like that's like a meatball kind of a question. Like it's definitely Bobby Clark. I would say an underrated one, Mike Richards. I'm not sure how big you are in hockey.
Not big.
Mike Richards got a bad rap in the city because he used to go out and party or whatnot, but he took care of business on the ice. He did all the right things, played real hard. He's definitely not the best Flyer of all time. I would say he's probably the most underrated, underappreciated. To the question, Bobby Clark.
Bobby Clark. There you have it, Leo. Leo's a huge hockey guy. Loves
Leo. It's Bobby Clark. I think you already knew the answer, but I appreciate it.
From Darrell Martell, who says you're a true American hero, but he wants to know: do you really think that you can ever hit leadoff?
Ooh, that's a jab. Yeah. Hey, look. I put me wherever the coach puts me. I do my job.
Yeah.
I do my job. Whether that's bat leadoff, that's fine. If you want to be a Tony La Russa of softball and put me at 11 for the bottom of the lineup, hey, I'll do that too.
Fair enough. I've had to be in many different spots over my illustrious softball career.
Yeah.
So being leadoff, it's easier than being a leadoff hitter in baseball. I'll say that.
And you're only really leading off truly once.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the game, which I guess for some, it could be like a mental thing.
Yeah.
But that being said, after the first inning, it's just
you're just going through.
Yeah, you're just going through. Hopefully you're going through, and hopefully you're going through enough times that no one really knows who the leadoff hitter is.
Yeah. Next question from Alex. Now I don't know how to say Alex's last name. Do you?
I want to mispronounce it because I know he mispronounces mine on purpose.
Yeah.
Lambrulis.
Lambrulis. Okay.
But he'll probably make fun of me. I don't know if this is on yours. He'll probably make fun of me because of my accent.
Well, I think that's his question. Ask him about his terrible South Jersey accent.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Too funny. All right, now
He really asked that?
He really asked that. Yeah. We post before we have a guest on, we post questions to Facebook, and these are some of the questions that came through. Some of them are a little ridiculous. Another ridiculous individual, Anthony Amato.
Oh God.
Southpaw, South Jersey. Why is Rocky Balboa the greatest athlete to come out of Philly, and he's not even real?
He called me Southpaw?
Yeah.
I'm not even. I've never even heard that in my life. I'm not even left-handed. Rocky.
Or he's talking about Rocky probably being a Southpaw.
Okay. Fair enough.
I don't know what the South. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Why is he? It's Rocky Balboa.
He's iconic.
Yeah, he's iconic, and at that point, I mean, it's not like much has really changed, but like it's just a city of losers.
Yeah.
Not much winning, and our biggest winner is a fictional character.
Well, I've seen Philly win some championships now in our day. So, and then he wants to also know who's a better green mascot, Wally or Philly the Fanatic?
Oh, the Fanatic, hands down.
Yeah. I see. I'd have to disagree. I'll go with. Well, actually, you know what? I don't care for Wally. I go to games and I'm like, yeah.
Is this by like default? You're just going to go with the Boston mascot, or?
Yeah, I would go by default because
Okay,
but I will say, and I've told Mo this. We had an election. Wanted to go a certain way. Philly came through in the clutch. I got a few more Philadelphia Phillies hats than I've ever had.
Yeah.
In celebration as a tribute. And I told Mo, I will not make fun of Philly sports for a month.
It's on the record.
It is on the record. I didn't make it.
Okay.
I think I made, and Mo, I apologize. I think I made it 20 days maybe, so short by like 10.
Probably had something to do with an Eagles game.
The urge was just, it's
always there.
It's hard. It's
always
hard,
there.
And after we lost the Super Bowl to them, and, but Philly, big ups to Philly, came through. Alicia Thine wants to know, ask him about the cheddar or wit?
So I think she's probably referring to a cheesesteak.
I think
so I guess this might tie in with that earlier question with the Pats and Genos. A lot of these places, not all, but a good amount of them, you go there and they're very strict on how you order because it's so busy. Like I was explaining, the lines around the building, and they're fast-paced. So you come out with what type of cheese you want, with or without onions. So, example, myself, I like Whiz, Cheese Whiz, with onions. So it's Whiz Wit, not with a TH, Wit.
Oh, okay.
Whiz Wit.
Yeah.
Some American, so I guess it might be like an American without. That's what I think she's getting at with the cheddar. I've never had cheddar cheese myself, but
she's the first time person to ever ask a question on the show.
Oh,
so
flattered.
We're gonna need you to be a little more detailed when you do send questions.
And she's got to know I'm not really that bright. I mean, but to be fair, I guess she kind of dummied it down for me. We left it with 2 words, and.
Next question from former guest of the show. Now, this guy, Nick Kappa, he's a huge Chicago guy.
Okay.
Huge Chicago guy. But how mad are you that the Phillies overpaid for Bryce Harper and sunk their franchise?
I was hoping this was a double doink question.
Yeah.
But to the Harper, yeah, it's definitely buyer's remorse. So say if they sign him at like 7:00.
Yeah.
Like maybe like 7:03. You're kind of like, that reality should set in. Like this might be a mistake.
I don't like those contracts. No. Those really long contracts.
And you can. I'll jump on board with it if you have a contender.
Yeah.
And the front end of the contract, you might get 3 to 4 championships or that nice run. Like, for example, that Phillies run in the late 2000s. 5 years of just consistent ball where you're a contender for a title. Okay. Too many years, a lot of money, probably a no-trade clause thrown in there as well. And the Phillies aren't that good. If there's a way they could have done it to where they get maybe a 7 or 8 year deal, but I don't think it's not in the management's. I don't think they have the leverage that they'd like, and the players have it, and you see where it's going with Mookie just signing. These guys are getting huge deals.
It all started with Alex Rodriguez.
Yeah,
it really did.
And he got two of them right.
He's. I mean, I guess he's never going to the Hall of Fame, but he's got a lot of money. The funniest part about the Bryce Harper thing was that the Nationals win the championship the very next year.
Yep.
So
I wonder how he just felt. He'll never come out publicly saying it.
No,
of course, but he's got to be sitting there. I don't know what kind of beer he drinks.
Yeah,
he might be like a White Claw kind of a guy.
But the money he's making, he's probably I mean, he's the guy that I'm gonna go get my GED and not even finish high school so I can get to the pros faster.
Yeah.
So
I forgot about I forgot about that. He hit that bomb in Tampa Bay at that. I think he might have hit the scoreboard, and he was like 16 or 17.
Yeah. So I mean, I'll be honest. The kid knew, I want to make my money, and some, and I don't know Bryce Harper. I don't know how he really feels, but I think if you have a talent, go cash in. And championships is almost like the exclamation point, I'd say, unless you really care about your legacy. But Ken Griffey never won a World Series, and I mean,
I think with Harper, I mean, again, I don't, like you said, I don't know him personally. He seems like he is a team player. He seems like he wants to win. I don't know what his intent was. Of course, money matters at some point. But it's just even for someone like, I love watching Mookie. I still would try to avoid something like that.
Yeah.
Because at some at a point in that deal, these players, especially someone of Mookie's size, he's going to break down. Half that contract he might.
And the Red Sox have dealt horrible contracts. So not a lot of Boston was like, we got to just re-sign him so we can have another guy on the books that's not going to be here.
Yeah.
But then there was other people like, well, who cares? They have endless amounts of money.
Well, they were saying they were like $100 million off, or a good amount.
Yeah.
That's a.
I wish Mookie the best. Wish he could have stayed, but that happens. Going to move into sports here. And I want to talk about this because I've been going off on social media about it. I don't like Bruce Arians. I don't like him. He's ruined my Tommy.
Yeah.
I know he's not a Patriot anymore, but I still root for Tom to do well. Who is the problem in Tampa Bay? Now they're 7-5. They're still in the hunt. You can see the frustration. Mike Greenberg had talked about. He had a lot of different stats that. Feels like Tampa Bay is not using Tom Brady the way Tom Brady's been used his whole career. Who's the problem in Tampa Bay? Is it Brady or is it the coaching?
Oh, of course, it's Bruce.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, there are things that have worked against them that they couldn't have controlled. It's such a strange offseason. And I think what we forget is Brady's spent 20 years in one area.
Yeah.
Essentially under one system, give or take. At the beginning of his career, he was more of a game manager. Going to a new offense, learning their, terminology, their style of play, even the weapons. All of this is so new to him, and he didn't have that offseason to work with these guys. So a lot of this is learned on the fly. And he has, and it still is an aging quarterback too.
43 years old.
43 years old. I mean, he's in charted waters here when it comes to just the stuff that he's doing. But Bruce Arians is the head coach, or at least that's his title.
Yeah.
And needs to make, I think, makes a mistake when it comes to throwing him under the bus in public.
That's been one of my biggest things that makes me not like him because I've seen other coaches do it, but I've watched Belichick for 20 years not do that to players. He doesn't do it to Cam. There's times where Cam how do you fumble in a position like that? I didn't hear Belichick ripping him at the end of the game. It's not good for the team. I think Arians is crap.
Well, you just compared two coaches.
Yeah.
One's got, as a head coach, 6 Super Bowls.
True.
One has 0.
Yeah.
And you see the difference of a difference in approach when it comes to handling the media. Now, of course, behind closed doors,
it's different.
Yeah, Bill's probably like, yo,
Yeah,
like cut the shit, ball on the outside shoulder when you're running, and that's fine. But you can't be doing that in public.
Yeah,
and especially nowadays, like everything gets nitpicked and criticized.
And you're also criticizing the guy that everybody has as the best quarterback of all time. He's not, I don't like Bruce Arians. I don't think Tampa Bay can win with him as the coach. Be curious to see how this goes. But
I can tell you how this will go. One of them will not be on that team next year, and and that's and Bruce Arians will not be on that team.
Yeah, I think you're right. Tampa Bay, but the Tampa Bay Bucks have to have the mentality of win. We have to win now, and not going to win with that guy.
Now, where do you think the bar is set between success and failure? Where do they have to go?
I think a success would be an NFC Championship game.
2-1 or winning one?
2-1. I think that'd be, because when was the last time the Bucks have been there? It's been they got to the Super Bowl in 2002 season, but I don't think they've even sniffed.
I don't think they've been to the playoffs in a while.
So a playoff berth would be like, okay. But the thing is, if you got to win now, Brady's 43. I know he's on the TB12 method, and it's unreal what he's doing. You can age real quick in a year in your 40s. So if you even bring him back for another year, you got to get somewhere. I just don't see that team. They got lucky. Drew Brees is hurt. But then they're still losing games that they should win. So, to me, I think success would be to get there, but that's not success to Tom Brady.
No.
So anyways, I don't know, Tampa Bay, get it together. Tom Brady, I'm always going to love Tom Brady. This is your problem, though. You created it. You should have stayed where you were. What are your top sports moments?
Oh, God. Eagles winning the Super Bowl.
Yep.
That's like 1A, 1B. It's still, depending on my son's attitude, it's like the best day of my life. With his birth.
Flip-flop.
Yeah, we use that as leverage.
Yeah.
And I think that's the obvious one. I'll go with another, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. There was a huge, huge upset that the Flyers pulled off, 2010. They were down in the second round of the playoffs to the Boston Bruins.
Yeah, I do
3 games to 9.
Yeah.
That comeback, they get game 7, down 3-0. They come back. That's another one. Iverson, the step over Tyronn Lue.
Okay.
In the finals. That's when I was starting to get real big into basketball. And double doink might be up there. That might be that one always kind of like creeps up in with my appreciation as like it goes. Like, how like that, getting a little off topic, but how you have that like that 5-12 seed in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
And like that 12 seed always kind of like that beats the number 5. It's a little common for something that should be uncommon. Yeah. So that's like the double doink for me. It's like creeping up.
Yeah.
And it's like slowly advancing my top memories. Something about it, just that type of season with that drama with the Wentz, and Foles, Wentz going down, Foles coming in, that hero, that knight in shining armor. Let's bring it back.
I won't say his nickname on air, but BDN.
Oh, there's something
Nick
about
Foles,
that piece.
That was one of the best things I've ever seen on live television when that guy said that. The reporter's like, what?
I was at the train station down in South Jersey. So not many people are familiar with where I grew up in South Jersey. It's maybe a 5 to 10 minute ride to Philadelphia. We're trying to go into the train. It stopped. Someone was on top of it, trying to ride it over the bridge into the city, and the whole train rattling back and forth, yelling, BDN.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, this dude's mom is somewhere
Yeah.
Like, just being reminded
Yeah.
endlessly of, like, what she created.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as much as I loved for the Patriots to have 7 Super Bowls, I remember texting Mo being like, congratulations, like, you guys won.
I think, I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
Eagles fan aside, I think that was, like, one of the best Super Bowls ever. It had everything you needed.
Brady broke records and still lost, and, a lot of people are like, well, he had that drop. I go, he had a pretty damn good game.
Sorry. If you make a couple mistakes, whatever.
Yeah.
That came down. It's just, yeah. But you threw it for 500 yards?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and you can't blame that one bit on him.
I do remember the start being like, what do you mean Malcolm Butler's not in the game? Like, to this day, I don't think anybody actually knows the answer to that.
You'll find out in about 15 to 20 years. One of them's going to write a book.
Yeah.
Probably Malcolm. Maybe he might not do well financially. He might need to get back on the map.
And you're like, hey, this is what happened.
And he's like, look, Bill, yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I mean, not just toot the horn of my own team, but all those Super Bowls that they've been in have all been nail biters.
I think the only one that wasn't like when I mean nail, but like it was still close though, was that 04-05 Super Bowl against the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean it was still a 3-point game, but yeah, and they had the interception. I think Harrison had the interception to end it.
That was that. And to be fair, it was that 3-point game. It was that last second, or not last, but it was like the last drive.
But out of them,
the Eagles had like, and this is, well, as an Eagles fan, you're like, well, McNabb's got to go. Yeah. The length of the field, you're like, oh, God.
Yeah.
You kind of knew, but you're holding out a little hope. But yeah.
Yeah, all of them just have been. It's just when they're in the Super Bowl, you just, which I'm kind of in a way, and we talked about this a little bit with my brothers, is that Patriots in an off season, right? Where I could get probably tickets cheap, but we can't go to games.
I know.
I don't have to have my blood pressure through the roof, watching. Yeah, I still kind of do. Like the other day with the Eagles, they're playing the Cardinals. I was like, God, come on, But it's been, to be honest, with the 5-6 record, I've enjoyed this season.
This team, while they might not be the traditional talented Patriots team, it speaks volume to me as an outsider with the job that Belichick has done getting his guys to play. I think the Eagles might have more talent than the Patriots. Yeah, but if you flip those coaches, there is no way Doug Peterson is getting the Patriots to where they are right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's, because everybody's, a lot of old coaches, Rex Ryan being one, love taking their digs at him now. But it's like, Rex, you made 2 AFC Championships games. That's all you have on your resume, and having a foot fetish. So you should probably just shut your mouth. I don't even know why people pay you to be an analyst. I guess he's entertaining. But, no, I think that's a very good point. I've enjoyed the season. I'm just glad we have football. But, all right, so we got some time left. We got a couple more segments here. Just your opinion on this. Netflix has pulled the Chappelle show. Do you believe that Dave Chappelle, if people are using his show from way back when, should he get any payment if people are going to air this show and make money off it?
I think that's, in theory, yeah. I just don't know what the contract was.
I don't think he owns the rights to it.
No, so it's probably a Comedy Central thing.
Yeah, but I think they sold it off to somebody else. And
yeah, I think at some point, like, if Chappelle, I don't know what happened, but Chappelle goes to him and is like, look, just throw me a bone.
Well, it was easy for Netflix to pull it because he's like, I'll pull my specials. I know these are big for you.
Yeah, and that's the thing that maybe Netflix might be losing sight of is, like, Chappelle could do this somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like, there's a market for his stuff.
Yeah.
Like, and he can easily put it on somewhere. I don't know what had happened. That was actually news to me when when he had texted me the other day. But as far as, them pulling it, I just don't know the contract.
He pulled it at their request. At his request. Basically, I think he had the cards, though. You want my specials, you got to pull it. It is on something else, but he's very upset. Now there's all these things, don't watch the Chappelle show. And I think I commented on something. I was like, I've owned the DVD since 2005.
Still, some of the great.
I think I can still watch it.
Some of the great, and actually I might need to update my my list for TV shows.
All right, we'll go through these last two questions before we get to blank versus blank real quickly. Now, Anthony Amato said, I'll be very disappointed if you guys don't talk about Sopranos, which is my all-time favorite TV show.
Okay.
Do you have a Mount Rushmore of the secondary characters? Now, I'm not talking Tony. I'm not talking Paulie. I'm talking secondary characters. You know.
And are you talking overall or within the Sopranos?
Within the Sopranos.
Oh, within. Oh, I don't have. I like Carmela.
Yeah.
I don't have a Rushmore, but I like her because in her involvement as she kind of, holds it together. And
Edie Falco's a fantastic actress.
I know. I guess. Yeah.
Wow. You know what? I might have messed this up. Yeah. Did you have a Rushmore of secondary characters?
In general, yeah. But I'll add another to the Soprano list just for Anthony because I'm like that.
Well, he said he's going to try to petition to have my show canceled if I didn't talk about Sopranos.
That's fine.
Bring it, Anthony.
Yeah,
I know where you live.
I like how Christopher and Adriana's relationship is. I like how they are, especially at the beginning. How supportive she is for his acting career and whatnot, and I get a kick out of it because how poorly he spells, punctuates things, but she's right there with them. But to my others, I know
I'd love to hear it if you have a list. Yeah.
Mr. Feeney, I have Mr. Feeney on there.
Oh, okay.
I have Mr. Feeney, phenomenal neighbor.
Yeah.
Teacher, and just someone you need in your corner within life. Seeing that progression throughout. Dwight Schrute from The Office, and I think you're an Office fan.
Second favorite show.
I may or may not be pandering a little bit when I throw Dwight out there like that. And these top two, it can go either way. Saul Goodman.
Okay.
I love Saul.
I gotta see that show.
And that might be a violation that you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. I never finished Breaking Bad.
Now, if there's a petition to end the show, that might be because you haven't seen it.
Yeah, well, whoever starts any of these petitions, I will find you.
I highly recommend it. It's, it is just it's good TV. It's good TV, and it's the kind of TV that you can watch. I feel like you could just watch it at any time, no matter if it's the year 2010. 2020, 2030, watch it through. And then number one, Ari Gold.
I love Ari.
I love Ari.
And that's one of my favorite shows as well.
That's this isn't a jab at anyone. I don't think that show could be on today.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
A lot of people say that about The Office too, and I go, well, you missed the point of some of these jokes,
And I think that's what we lose sight of too. It's I don't think the intent when it comes to the content of these is to really jab somebody and really upset and hurt feelings. I think it's just to laugh and just.
The Office was more about the irony of these awkward situations, all right, we are getting super short on time, but I want to know real quick because this was sparking all kinds of arguments on Facebook this week. Just list me your top 10 TV shows.
All right. I'll number 1, Entourage. 2, I have Breaking Bad. 3, The Office. 4, It's Always Sunny. 5, Walking Dead.
Nice.
6, The Simpsons. 7, Sons of Anarchy. 8, Trailer Park Boys. 9, Sopranos. 10, Walking Dead. And I have to pay homage to my upbringing.
Yep.
You got to throw Rugrats and Rocket Power in there. It's kind of like we were talking about before, the NFL Top 100.
Yeah.
How there might be some people that don't deserve to be on there, but it's a generational thing. You got to pay homage to Tommy Pickles and the boys.
Nice. My favorite was Doug on there. Now, all right, we want to get into blank versus blank. Now, if you want to argue with John about his list, put it in the comments because there's been arguments on Facebook all week about these top 10 lists. But blank versus blank, you got to pick one. You don't really have to tell why this week. Better bad guy in Rocky, Drago or Clubber Lang?
Probably Drago.
Oh, okay. We have a little more time than I thought. Okay, thank you, Justin. Did you go with Drago?
Yeah. I think it's that nationality point at that point. I mean, he killed.
Yeah.
He our
did.
boy.
He killed Apollo.
Yeah. I think. Yeah.
All right. I feel a little. I was against clock. I know it's you can only keep one: the Eagles or the Phillies.
Eagles.
Not even blinking on that one, which is going to make another question coming up, I guess, easy for you. All right, two pretty important Phillies pitchers.
I would have felt bad if you were about to ask my son because I was rolling off with the Eagles right there.
Kurt Schilling or Roy Halladay?
Roy Halladay.
Yeah, I mean one's a Hall of Famer, one's not.
I mean it's a good spot to be in to pick. But Halladay just, I mean, that 2010 year, his first year with the Phillies, a perfect game, and then a no-hitter in his first ever playoff start.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's just unbelievable.
Carson Wentz or Donovan McNabb?
Wentz.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm surprised when Eagles fans say this.
McNabb, Bennett. If McNabb had better weapons, I think Wentz is a better quarterback. McNabb had better results because he had like a top 3 defense every year for the good amount of his career. It only took until like the 2004-2005 season where Andy Reid probably felt the pressure like, you need to get him some weapons, or else this is going to be a waste. And finally, Tio got on board. Probably, Wentz, but I'd still take McNabb too.
Yeah?
Yeah, McNabb. I mean, it was so exciting to watch. How can you argue, 5 NFC championship games?
Yeah, and finally got to the big one, so. But, all right, well, that's going to do it. I had some tougher ones for you, but we'll have you back on the show. We got plenty of blank versus blanks. We never can run out of these. But I just want to, we'll see you next week. Everybody, wear your masks. And Soapy Pre-Up, I'm looking at you. If you continue to run your mouth about Owen Hart, I'm going to find you, okay? And you have an open invitation to come back on my show and we can argue about this. But until next week, let freedom ring.